Well, as mentioned, the Cougars into Northern California this week. They did, however, add a couple of future opponents that'll take them elsewhere, and BYU TV football analyst Blaine Fowler's here. Let's start with Virginia, which is where BYU will kick off next season in that monster 2013. How about that series?
Yeah, as this season for next year is really shaping up to be great. And there's good opponents in every month of the year, all the way through November, which is very exciting. Virginia's a great place. ACC, it's an old stadium. It's got a lot of atmosphere there, and it's a good place to take this team. Back to Charlottesville in Virginia, a lot of history, you know, of American history back there. It'll be a good experience for the players, and I think it's a great place to start. And then they got to come back and play Texas the next week.
Another team they've added, and it's interesting that the Utes say, hey, we can't play BYU because we got to play Michigan. And BYU goes, look, we'll play anybody, and we'll play Michigan. And they signed Michigan in 2015 back in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and they get to go to the Big House, which was one of the storied facilities in all of college football. And remember, Michigan is the winningest college football program in history. And so this is a great opportunity, a great experience. And I like the way BYU will match up with all the teams on their schedule next year with what they've got coming back.
I like the Cincinnati series, too, in 2015 and 16. BYU playing Ohio for the first time ever. So you see Tom Holmoe's vision of independence to take the Cougars to all the regions of the country, and that's where they're going.
Well, and he told us to be patient through the first couple of years. Remember, he said that. And we've been patient with kind of games that aren't maybe as exciting in the month of November, and next year it starts. Next year, they look like an independent that's been an independent for a long time, and their schedule is as good as any in the country.
All right, last week you talked to us about Idaho being not very good. No offense to you folks in Idaho, but
they're just not
that's
that good.
It just is what it is. And they weren't very good on Saturday, and the Cougars blow them out and become bowl eligible again, go down to San Diego, try to win there in a bowl game for the first time since you were there, winning the national championship in 1984.
And I spent this last weekend in San Diego. Everybody's really excited to have them down there. I did the San Diego State game on Saturday, and that
wait a second. You were in the sunshine of San Diego,
and you were in the snow.
and I was in the snow.
That's how it works. That's how it works. But it will likely be San Diego State. The Mountain West is set up so that it's not the champion doesn't necessarily go to the Las Vegas Bowl. They pick. They have the first pick. The Poinsettia has the second. And San Diego State likely to be co-conference champions. They have one game left against Hawaii at Hawaii, which they should win. They'll probably end up in a tie with Boise State and Fresno State. And BYU's likely opponent, and that'll be a good matchup. They're a run-based football team, not like the old San Diego State. And I think that that's a good matchup for BYU, and there should be a huge crowd on hand in San Diego.
They're like New Mexico when they were good, because Rocky Long's the coach, play good defense, run the football.
Exactly. That's exactly how they play.
There are some good things we saw out of the Idaho game in the snow the other night. Let's roll out the Zions Direct film session and break some of it down. Zions Direct, current insights and trends to help you keep up on some of the latest ideas in finance are available by signing up for the Zions Direct weekly newsletter at Zions.
First, we're going to send Riley Nelson in motion to distract the defense. And the key to getting a big play is downfield blocking. Cody Hoffman at wide receiver, Yonah Pritchard at fullback, and then Kani Akua-Friel at tight end. Watch all three as they get to the second level. When you dominate the line of scrimmage, you get 3 or 4 yards. When you dominate the second level, look at these 3 blocks downfield. There's a second level block, another second level block, another second level block. That's when you get big time plays. Not a 4 or 5 yard play, but a big time play. And this really set the tone for BYU in the run game in this ball game. Jamal Williams off to the races and setting up a score on this big play. And then on this play, Riley Nelson comes out and he's going to look and say, hey, wait a minute here. Are they really going to cover one-on-one Cody Hoffman? And he looks behind and says, hey, there's no help back here, no safety over the top. I know right where I'm going on this play. One-on-one with Cody Hoffman means he's open. Watch the pressure step inside, the ball delivered on time. That's an easy read for Riley Nelson. You cannot cover Cody Hoffman on the goal line without any help.
You noticed, too, as you watched our broadcast, that Riley looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked the best he's looked since the injury. His footwork was good. The ball had velocity on it again, and I've been waiting for that, for him to look like he did at the start of the season. He looks good, and they need it because San Jose State is a very good football team this
Sometimes
season.
we take for granted health.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. When your back doesn't feel good, it's not easy to play quarterback. It really isn't.
Let's take a moment and get to know our foe. Cougars headed west to California this week, traveling 582 miles to take on San Jose State. The Spartans play in Spartan Stadium. They're blue, gold, and white. Student enrollment of 27,000. They're pretty good, too. 8-2. Their first winning record since 2006. They beat New Mexico State 47-7 their last time out. They averaged 35 points a game, and they've scored 40 or more in 5 games this season. Notable alumni include Bill Walsh, former head coach of the 49ers, general manager former head coach at Stanford. There was Dick Vermeil, coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, former coach of the Rams. Singer-songwriter Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac. Now you're speaking our language.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and
our era.
Ray Dolby, founder of Dolby Sound Systems. You go to a movie, you can thank him. Who to watch now for these San Jose State Spartans? David Fales and Noel Grigsby.
And this is a football team that can really throw the ball around. And Fales has been very impressive at the quarterback position. Look at his completion percentage. That's maybe the most impressive thing. They spread it around to multiple receivers, but when it's clutch time, when he needs a first down, he's looking for Noel Grigsby. And Grigsby has been a first down machine and a touchdown machine for this football team through the air. So BYU's got to find Grigsby, especially when it's third down in this ball game.
Well, should we look at some of the snow pictures that you missed while you were there on the beach working on your tan?
It was not that warm down there. It was only 60-something.
It was a cold night. There we are on the post game. This guy waited for his date all night long. She's smarter than he is. She went to the library where it's warm. And some students up in the west stands, they built a snow fort right during the game.
Well, it's igloo. They kept warming that as the game wound down. But I was impressed that the weather didn't affect BYU.
No.
I mean, they looked like they didn't even acknowledge that it was cold. That's mental toughness, and that's going to help them here in the next couple games.
All right, thanks, Blaine.